Summary of the Prophet Muhammad's major battles. The military campaigns during the Prophet's time in Medina were fundamentally defensive in nature. They were fought to ensure the survival of the nascent Muslim community, deter aggression from the Quraysh of Mecca and other hostile tribes, and ultimately remove the obstacles preventing people from freely accepting Islam. They are divided into two types: Ghazwah, a battle in which the Prophet himself participated; Sariyah, an expedition he ordered but did not personally lead. Here are the most significant Ghazawat. 1. The Battle of Badr. Ghazwat Badr. Date: Ramadan 2 624 CE. Opponent: Quraysh army from Mecca. Cause: a Muslim force intercepted a large Quraysh trade caravan returning from Syria, threatening their economic power. The Quraysh sent a large army to protect it. Result: a decisive Muslim victory against overwhelming odds, 313 Muslims versus about 1,000 Meccans. It was seen as a divine sign and greatly strengthened the Muslims' morale and position in Medina. Significance: the first major confrontation between faith and disbelief. It established the Muslim community as a formidable political and military force. 2. The Battle of Uhud. Ghazwat Uhud. Date: Shawwal 3 625 CE. Opponent: Quraysh army from Mecca seeking revenge for Badr. Cause: the Quraysh wanted to avenge their losses at Badr and eliminate the Muslim threat. Result: initially a Muslim advantage, but a tactical error, archers leaving their post, led to a partial setback. The Meccans could not capitalize on it to capture Medina. The Prophet was injured. Significance: a lesson in obedience, discipline, and the tests of faith. It showed that victory is not solely dependent on numbers but on faith and steadfastness. 3. The Battle of the Trench. Ghazwat al-Khandaq, al-Ajab. Date: Shawwal 5 627 CE. Opponents: a confederacy, Ajab, of Quraysh, Jewish tribes, Banu Nadir, and other Bedouin tribes. Cause: the Jewish tribe Banu Nadir, exiled from Medina, persuaded the Quraysh and others to form a massive army to besiege and destroy Medina. Result: the Muslims dug a trench, a novel strategy in Arabia, on the advice of Salman al-Farisi, neutralizing the enemy's cavalry. After a long siege marked by hardship and intrigue, a storm and internal disputes caused the confederacy to disband. Significance: the last attempt by the Quraysh to destroy the Muslim community. It marked the end of their major offensive capabilities. 4. The Treaty of Hudaybiyah. Surah al-Hudaybiyah. Date: Dhu al-Qidah 6 628 CE. Event: the Prophet and his followers set out for Mecca to perform Umrah, the lesser pilgrimage. The Quraysh blocked their path. After tense negotiations, a treaty was signed. Key terms: a 10-year truce. Muslims would return to Medina that year but could return the next year for Umrah. Anyone fleeing Mecca for Medina would be returned, but not vice versa. Tribes were free to ally with either side. Significance: though it seemed unfavorable on the surface, the Quran called it a manifest victory. Surah Al-Fath. It led to a period of peace, allowing Islam to spread rapidly through preaching. The breached clause of the treaty later led to the conquest of Mecca. 5. The Conquest of Mecca. Fath Makkah. Date: Ramadan 8 630 CE. Cause: the Quraysh broke the Treaty of Hudaybiyah by attacking an allied tribe of the Muslims. Event: the Prophet marched on Mecca with a huge force of 10,000 men. Seeing the inevitable, Mecca surrendered with little bloodshed. Result: the peaceful conquest of Mecca. The Prophet entered the Kaaba, cleared it of idols, and declared a general amnesty for most of the Meccans. Significance: the culmination of the Prophet's mission. It ended polytheism in Mecca and established it as the spiritual center of Islam. 6. The Battle of Hunayn. Ghazwat Hunayn. Date: Shawwal 8 630 CE. Opponents: the tribes of Hawazin and Thaqif. cause. Following the conquest of Mecca, these powerful tribes gathered to attack the Muslims, fearing their growing power. Result: initially, the Muslim army was ambushed and thrown into confusion. However, they rallied around the Prophet and achieved a decisive victory. Significance: it demonstrated that victory comes from Allah's help and steadfastness, not merely from large numbers. It solidified Muslim control over the Hijaz region. Important note: the primary objective of these battles was never conquest for its own sake, wealth, or territory. The core goals were self-defense, protecting the Muslim community from annihilation; freedom of religion, removing persecution so people could choose Islam freely; upholding agreements, responding to treaties broken by hostile parties; establishing justice and security, ending the lawlessness and tribalism that plagued pre-Islamic Arabia.